Hello, fight fans. Seattle Mike here of MMA with Friends. Everybody, please hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. And definitely ring that bell so you're notified whenever I drop a new video or go live, like hopefully April 18th for Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Tony Ferguson. We're going to talk about that and all the events going on with Bellator and the UFC in this video. So pay close attention. Please knock on wood that Khabib versus Tony Ferguson happens. Please, please. So starting out, UFC and Bellator. Major announcements regarding future events due to coronavirus. This is the latest from Dana White and Bellator. Thursday, March 12th, Dana White made announcements on future events and if and when they will be held. Changes include times of televised events and networks, so please pay close attention. Starting with UFC Brazil, scheduled March 14th. March 11th, the governor of Brazil limited the size of public events. It will be limited to 100 UFC personnel. It will be aired on ESPN and ESPN+. Prelims will start at noon, main card at 3 p.m. Pacific times. I will be streaming that fight companion as scheduled. For stateside events, UFC Columbus, Ohio, March 28th, and UFC Portland, April 11th. They will take place at the UFC Apex Training Center with 100 people viewing. Again, this is limited just to necessary UFC personnel. Francis Ngannou versus Rozenstruik, March 28th. The prelims will start earlier now at 1 p.m. Pacific with the main card at 4 p.m. exclusively on ESPN. Alistair Overeem versus Walt Harris, April 11th, originally scheduled for Portland, Oregon. Is still scheduled, but it will also be at the Apex Center. Prelims will be at 4 p.m. with a 7 p.m. main event aired entirely on ESPN and possibly other channels. Look for future announcements on that. Dana White has been in communication with officials in London for UFC UK Woodley versus Edwards, scheduled for March 21st. At this time, that event is unchanged. Prelims will air on ESPN Plus and possibly other channels. They will be starting at 10 a.m. Pacific with the main card at 1 p.m. Pacific. I'm watching this closely as I feel that is the one that is most likely to change. The UFC wants to assure you it is working directly with the Las Vegas Athletic Commission and Executive Director Bob Bennett to screen athletes and ensure they are healthy to compete and be exposed to other athletes and UFC personnel, including but not limited to coronavirus testing. Dana White has been in communication with the president and the vice president, the government, and health officials to keep fighters and officials safe and healthy. The UFC is working with new infrared technology that checks people's temperatures as they walk into an arena or UFC facility. If someone has a high temperature, they will pull them aside for screening. Earlier this week, Bellator 241, Friday, March 13th, scheduled for today, was updated to an empty arena event. As of 1 hour ago, 11 a.m. Pacific, Bellator 241 Patricio Pitbull versus Pedro Carvalho has been canceled. MMA with Friends stream will be replaced by a special interview with Master Luke Kumo from the UFC and Tough Season 2. He runs an MMA gym and nutrition company and is a fighter safety and health consciousness advocate. UFC 249, Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Tony Ferguson, was not mentioned at this press conference. This event is scheduled for April 18th in Brooklyn, New York. It has been widely rumored that the UFC would move this to Las Vegas as well. However, lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov has sworn not to fight in Las Vegas again after receiving fines and suspensions from the Las Vegas Athletic Commission, putting this fight in doubt. Khabib doesn't fight during Ramadan, which is April 24th through May 23rd this year. It is not known what measures the UFC would take should Khabib refuse to defend his title in Las Vegas. Here at MMA with Friends, our thoughts and prayers are not only with the fight community, but everyone affected by this outbreak as a whole. I ask that you please join us tonight at 6 p.m. live for an open COVID-19 forum with nutritionist and UFC veteran Luke Kumo. Luke will be taking your questions live in chat. It will be a video conference through Skype. So thank you guys very much for tuning into this video. I know that there is some panic. There's some panic not just in the UFC, but the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, concerts across the country, not to mention the stock market, our economy, and hopefully none of you guys are, struggling with work, with layoffs and different things. I have heard some of this happening across the country. My children, everyone in Washington State, school is canceled until at least April 24th. So 45 days schools closed here in all of Washington State. State of emergency. My wife, being a teacher, will also be home at least for most of that time. They're working on if they're going to send packets home with children. She'll go into school at least once later on during the week. As they try to plan what they're doing there. I'll try to keep you guys updated just in case there's anybody in Washington State on that or any other states that may be having some kind of school cancellations. Feel free to share your knowledge down there in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about this. Is the UFC doing a good job going forward with this? Should they be canceling? What do you think about what other sports are doing? I'm really curious what you guys think about this entire thing. But most importantly, just stay safe. I really don't think you should, go out in public events unless necessary right now. My advice is to just take precaution. Better safe than sorry. Guys, as always, I love you. I respect you. And I'll see your fine asses tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific for a live COVID-19 coronavirus public forum.